So this particular one, this is the Undead Dragon, Tequatl. This is a level 65 event. Okay, so you'll see I've leveled up here. I have new skills and new abilities. And let me set this up for you. So, here in this part of the world, we have a race of amphibious creatures called the Hylic. And the Hylic have been threatened by Tequatl, a dragon rising from the ocean. Actually, Tequatl is not one of the elder dragons, so there's a class of dragon even much, much bigger than this that you'll face in the game. But he's a lieutenant dragon. And you're going to see, even though he's not the biggest dragon in the game, he's still quite a threat. Okay? And so, the Tequatl have lined up an array of defenses against... the Hylic have lined up an array of defenses against Tequatl. They have catapults, turrets. Looks like the Asura, an inventor race, are helping them with a secret weapon. And what we need is, we're going to need dozens of players to come together. Let's see this. So, let me tell you about what's going on. So you can see, we've got a bunch of players here. We're going to try to frontal assault on the dragon. He can stomp us with his claws. He can breathe poison on us. He can create fear, causing everyone to run away from him. Okay. We have these armaments that we can use to attack. We've got the catapults and the turrets, but he's creating walls of bone between us and the dragon, right? So we need people to help destroy these walls so we can get in and attack the dragon. Meanwhile, he's also going to be launching projectiles against us. He's summoning minions. He's going to try to attack our catapults directly. And of course, if we let him take the catapults, then all could be lost. So we really need to work together here. Different players concentrating on different parts of the attack. If one player goes down, needs resurrection or healing, we come to that player's aid because we need as many people as we can have. Right? Alright, you can see in Guild Wars 2, if I go down, I actually have a last chance to save myself. I have a set of skills that I can use when I'm on the ground, and if using those skills I can manage to defeat an enemy, then I get a burst of adrenaline and I rally back into the action. The Asura just got off a shot of their secret weapon. The dragon is stunned. Good time to call in all the troops and do as much damage as we can.
Alright, and working together we've done it. We all share in the rewards. Alright, and victory. And after completing an event like this in Guild Wars 2 with dozens of other players, what do?
but we feel like we're almost already in a party together, right? And so let's just keep playing together. You'll see these dozens of players then continue along the world, participating in new events. Okay. And that's how it goes with Guild Wars 2. Now the other part that we're not showing you today is PvP. PvP is a major part of Guild Wars 2, and we're demoing it live at G-Star. We're going to be having exhibition matches at G-Star, so please come to G-Star and see our PvP. Okay, but I want to thank you and thank the team here who's been giving the live demo, Carl and Isaiah on the controls, and we're going to be back after lunch. We'll have Isaiah, our lead systems designer, Daniel Dochu, our art director, and myself to answer all your questions. Okay, so thank you. 감사합니다. Okay, so we're going to go quickly today because we don't have that much time. But let me give you a little bit of setup here. So 250 years have passed since Guild Wars 1. The races, if you could go back to the 5 races. In Guild Wars 1, you played humans, and your greatest enemy was the Char. But since then, a new threat has arisen. Elder dragons have risen from the land. They lay dormant for centuries. And actually, these elder dragons are so large, they lay underneath cities, underneath continents. A mountain ridge could be the back of a dragon. And they're waking up, they're coming to life. They're going to transform the land to take over the world if the races can't come together. So let's come together, let's choose human, and we'll go on. We have 8 professions to play with. Actually, 7 have been announced so far, and you can play with 7 at G-Star. Let's pick Elementalist, our master of the elements, caster profession. We'll go on, we'll see that there's extensive character customization. Please check this out at G-Star, play with this at G-Star. You'll see one really interesting thing we're doing also is our die system, armor die. We really want players to be unique, not just in the skills they choose, but in their appearance. And so not only do we let you dye everything, but even multiple channels per armor piece. If armor has metal and leather and cloth, you can dye them all separately. This is a starting set of colors, and there's hundreds to choose from. But let's go on, and I want to show you something. Unique about character creation here. And that is, when I create a character in Guild Wars 2, I get to pick my biography. And so, I told you about storyline. The choices that I make will affect the game I experience. And not only in the game, but even before the game starts, I will make choices here that change the story I'll experience. So, I choose the elements that I'm most attuned to. That'll change my starting equipment. I choose my personality. Am I charismatic? Or am I ferocious, dignified? That'll change how I interact with NPCs. And now I'm going to make a choice about my background. And how was I raised? Was I raised among the nobility? Was I a commoner? Did I grow up on the streets? And you'll see in a second, this choice will change the story that I see right from the beginning of the game. Okay? And we go on, we make more choices. What was my greatest regret? Which god has blessed me as I was growing up? And these choices, again, these will come back and change the story that I see as I play the game. So I've got this biography. It shows me everything that I've chosen. And now let's go on, let's create this character. And we'll see how my choices right away lead into a branching storyline.
인간은 한때 태양을 지배했다. 이제는 우리의 땅을 지키고 노력한다. 많은 나라가 몰락했다. 버티고 있는 건 오직 큰 탈뿐. 비록 6시간 침묵하면서 우리의 심령은 강하다. 우리는 용기를 버리지 않고 신성도시에서 당당히 일할 것이다.
So right here, the story will change based on what I just chose.
이 도시는 내 고향이다. 나는 거리에서 자라났고 친구들이 있긴 하지만 내 삶은 고난의 연속이었다. 이 도시에서 나는 밑바닥의 한계까지 쫓아있길 바빴다. 하루하루 버티는 것조차 힘든 생활. 더는 이렇게 살지 않겠다. 이제 신성도시를 벗어나 새로운 희망을 기대하며 걸음을 옮겨야겠다. 하지만 얄궂게도 히오모에 도착한 곳에서 마을이 켄타우로스의 공격을 받고 있었다. 무고한 주민들이 위험에 처했다. 누군가 나서라. 내 몸은 지킬 수 있다. 하지만 그게 전부는 아니지만가. 누군가는 힘없는 사람을 도와야 한다. 내 이야기는 여기서 시작된다.
And my story starts. So think about that. I had 5 different races to choose from. And within those races, I had choices like nobility, commoner, streets. So 5 times 3, 15 different stories to experience just from the start of the game. So we think even players who normally play one character in an online world, they're going to want to play a lot of characters with Guild Wars 2. So they're going to want to see all the different stories they can experience. Okay, so I promised you I would start talking about combat. Let me tell you about combat in this game. So we have a very active combat system here. You'll see that I can move around and cast skills at the same time. I can always use skills even if I don't have a target. So I never have to manually choose a target if I don't want to. We're early on in the game right here, but as monsters start attacking me back, I can roll to the side to avoid their attacks. Just double tap in any direction to roll in that direction. And we've got this new skill system. So just like Guild Wars 1, we have some skills here that every player can choose differently. So every elementalist can be different than every other elementalist. I will find the combo just for me. Right? But now on the left, we have a new system where in addition to that, I have skills that are particular to my weapon and profession. And so you can see here, as I'm fighting, I'm learning new staff skills, new elementalist staff skills. And as I progress, I'll learn new elements, fire, water, and I'll learn more as the demo goes on. And I'll pick up new weapons. And each time I pick up a new weapon, then that's a whole new set of skills to learn. So in combat, it's not only a matter of choosing what skills, but choosing what weapon I want to equip. Okay, so let's carry on with the story.
가사관님, 마을 반대편에 켄타우로스가 더 있습니다. 데커레이 부대장님이 요새에서 지원군을 요청하셨어요.
데커레이 부대장이 지원을 요청할 정도면 심각한 모양이지만 보낼 병력이 없어.
제가 가죠. 데커레이 부대장은 신성도시를 위해 헌신했어. 그분을 돕고 싶군요.
알타자르의 가부가 함께하길. 이 전쟁에서 이기려면 그런 정신이 필요하죠.
Alright, so as we continue now, let's take a moment to look at the art. So we have our art director, Daniel Doshu, here today. He and his award-winning, literally, team of concept artists, they make such inspiring concept art. And in Guild Wars 1, we were inspired by it, but the game couldn't actually look like the concept art. But now the technology exists that we really try to make Guild Wars 2 look like the concept art. The backgrounds, the cinematics that you'll see, we tell stories through our concept art. Even the user interface, everything now is really a reflection of this art style. Alright, So, Sergeant Walters asked us to come here and help defend the garrison against the Centaur attackers. This will be our first dynamic event. So the things to remember. All events are multiplayer. Right from the beginning of the game here, we can have other players with us, helping us defend this garrison. And I didn't have to do anything, right? I didn't have to walk up here and click on an NPC and he says, you know, help, defend us. I just walk into the garrison and it's obvious what should happen. It's obvious that I need to help these NPCs defend themselves against the Centaur attackers. And I join in, and everybody who joins in is together. We're in this together. We all have the same motivations. We'll all be rewarded together. In fact, you may be used to other MMOs where you might be fighting and then somebody else comes along and you say, wait a minute, these are my monsters, go get your own monsters. You know, I want to kill these because I want to get rewarded for these. Not in Guild Wars 2. In Guild Wars 2, everybody who participates gets 100% of the loot. Everybody who participates gets 100% of the experience points. It's always just better to have other players with you. So very, very social. We say it's the first truly cooperative MMO. Alright, this last Centaur won't be defeated so easily. He's going to call up a greater enemy. Now look at this. In another MMO, you might have to wait until late in the game to face a boss monster of this size, but with Guild Wars 2, we want to get you into the action right away and gather players together and show them how to work together to defeat something greater than themselves. So right from the beginning here, you can work together. You see we're healing and resurrecting other players. Everybody can do that. You don't have to be a healer class to do that. Everybody can heal, everybody can resurrect. And of course it's in our best interest, right? Because we need more players around us to take down these huge challenges. So we always have the same interest as everybody around us. Players are used to forming a party when they want to play with other players. And you can do that in Guild Wars 2, but for the most part, you don't even need to. You feel like you're always automatically in a party with everybody around you. Because all the things that you're used to getting from an MMO, from being in a party, you already get just from being around other players. Alright, we defeated the boss, but we were knocked out by the explosion.
여긴 어디죠? 무슨 일 있었나요? 애니멘탈이 폭발할 때의 충격으로 정신을 잃었어요. 테커레이 부대장이 당신을 데리고 여기까지 왔죠. 3일 만에 깨어난 거예요. 많은 사람들이 다녀갔어요. 당신이 구해준 마을 사람들, 세라프들, 좀 수상해 보이는 친구도 매일 찾아왔죠. 이름은 말하지 않더군요. 제 친구 퀸이 다녀간 모양이군요. 혹시 없어진 물건이 없는지 확인해보세요. 몸이 나으면 가서 만나봐야겠군요. 아직 치료할 게 남았나요? 신선한 공기와 운동이 최고의 약이죠. 두아이나 신께서 당신을 도왔어요. 괜찮으면 다른 사람을 돕는 게 어떨까요? 고마워요. 그러도록 하죠. 이렇게 돌봐줘서 고마워요. 몸 조심해요. 계곡적인 할 일이 많을 거예요. 두아이나의 가호가 함께하길.
Alright, we've completed this first step in our personal story. We get to choose a new weapon. I'll tell you about it in a minute.
혼자는 다시 가야겠네.
Let's go outside and see if we made a difference. Alright, we're back in Shaymore, but we've defeated that attack. And let's find out what's going on in the world.
가뜩이나 어려운 상황인데 무법자들까지 말씀을 일으키고 있어요. 쉐이머 평야에 있는 디아의 농장으로 가서 디아를 만나 자세한 얘기를 들어보세요. 이건 경유지입니다. 경유지는 화면의 오른쪽 아래 구석에 있는 나침반에 표시됩니다. M을 누르면 나타나는 지도에도 표시됩니다. 지도를 닫으려면 M을 다시 누르십시오. 경유지로 순간 이동을 하려면 지도를 열고 이동하려는 경유지를 클릭하십시오.
Alright, so this is just a huge living world now. There's well over 1,000 events that can happen. And so we walk through the world and we see what's happening in the world. Who needs our help? Okay, so as you play the demo at G-Star, you'll see there's just different things happening all the time. You'll find different people who need your help in the world. In this case, we had an NPC in town. He's a vendor. I'd really like to be able to buy things from him. But he can't sell me things right now because down below we have a monster attacking his fishing area, the Drake Broodmother. So let's go down and see if we can help him. Okay, so as we do this, it's a good time to talk to you about weapons again. We just got a new weapon, let's try it out. Okay, so before I was using a staff, as an elementalist using a staff, I need to be in the back lines, calling down fire from afar. As soon as I equip daggers, I'm right up in the face of my enemies. Okay? And so it's going to completely change the way I play. And so again, I switch back and forth between staff and daggers according to the need of the situation. And each time I switch, I get a completely new set of skills to use. Alright, so this looks bad. So this is an early event in the game. Actually, it's still quite challenging though. It would be great to have more players with me. And that's what you would normally see in Guild Wars 2, is you'd have a lot of people around to participate in these events with you. Since we don't today, we'll try to take it down by using strategy. We're going to need to try to take down the broodlings first, because they would be doing constant damage if we don't. And then after that, we're going to try to dodge the attacks of this brood mother. We'll use position to our advantage. Anytime she warms up an attack, we're going to dodge out of the way, control the combat, and hopefully we'll be victorious. So the other thing about this is every event in Guild Wars 2 can scale its difficulty according to the number of players who are participating. That means if you're in the garrison and more players come in to help you, there will be more centaurs, even right in the middle of the event, in order to keep things interesting. And here you ask yourself, oh, we've got some nice loot. But here you ask yourself, there's only one Drake Broodmother. How does she scale herself according to the difficulty? And the answer is she'll actually learn new skills, new abilities, and use new tactics against you as you're fighting her, depending on how many people are in the combat. So the game just always keeps things interesting for you. Alright, we're going to do a little bit more combat here. You can see as the elementalist, I'm attuned to the 4 elements. Fire focuses on damage. Water element focuses on healing myself and the people around me.
잘 풀리는데?
Okay, and I just completed my next challenge here. Okay, so I can keep participating in all the events taking place in this world. I saw bandits here a second ago burning a wheat field. I could have go helped Farmer Dia rid himself of the bandits. Okay, but since we're short on time, I'm going to take this challenge. So there's an open world, and again, I just help the people who need me in the open world. There's always things happening. And then sometimes I'll get a call to action. In this case, I just got an important letter from Logan Thackeray. He says he's been noticing the bandit attacks. He wants me to investigate. He thinks they've got a plan against the city. Okay? So I can continue my personal storyline at my leisure. Right? I can participate in events in the open world as much as I want, but when I'm ready, I'll go take on the next part of my personal storyline, see what happens. This is the garrison, you'll remember. You can see it's very different now. But as we run past this garrison, we'll see what state it's in. Okay, so looks like the centaurs are back in the garrison, right? So again, players really want to control this garrison. There are all the services that they need in this garrison. And so it's really in my best interest to push forward, clear the centaurs out, push them back, far away from the garrison, go out to their home camp and actually destroy them in their home camp. Try to rid the town of Shaymore of this centaur threat. And I can gather players together and do that, right? So right now, since we're short on time, I'm not going to do that. Right now, let's continue down to the next step of my personal storyline. But there are always people in the world who need my help. Okay, so we're going to head to the Bandit Cave. The Bandit Cave is actually on the other side of this lake, so this will be a good chance to show you our swimming and our underwater. Let's take a look at this. Okay. So this is an early experience. Even this is very explorable, but later on we have huge portions of the game that are entirely underwater. And so we really make underwater an important part of the game. You'll see there's no breath meter. It's not like I need to come up to the surface after a few seconds. I can move fluidly in all three dimensions. As soon as I got underwater, I switched to another weapon, my trident. So again, I have new fire skills, new water skills. Because I've leveled up, I now have unlocked lightning as another element. And I can learn new lightning skills. And these skills are all different than the ones that we had on land, because this is designed to really take advantage of the 3D nature of underwater combat. So it's a huge part of the game. 25% of the events in the game take place underwater. Okay, we've crossed the lake. Let's go on. And we'll get to the Bandit Cave at last. And I need to disguise myself as a bandit, and infiltrate them and see if they have a plot against the city. Let's go in.
시크릿가 그려드린 모양이군. 누구지?
새로 들어왔어. 실력 발휘 좀 해야겠는데 괜찮을 건수 없어? 피트가 그러는데 할 일 넘친다면서?
물론이지. 이런 말 어설프게 깐족거리지만 않으면 돼. 혹시 아무도 일을 안 맡기면 나한테 와. 내가 일거리를 주지.
Alright, so this is all playable at G-Star. And I encourage you all to join us at G-Star, play through this, and see what happens.